If you are thinking of sending your children to the universities in the West to go study, especially the Ivy League universities, because you feel like they'll do better over there, you might want to listen to this and perhaps the whole podcast before making that decision.
There's another issue that seems to be operating at the university. A disproportionate number of the protesters, or the protester puppets, you might say, are young women. And so there's something to that too, because it's in the nature of young women, I would say, to adopt the mien of sympathy towards victimization and fail to see the predators lurking underneath the rocks, let's say. Women haven't traditionally fought wars. They're not necessarily equipped to identify actual enemies. Their proclivity is sympathy, and that's exacerbated in the case of naivety. And there's a great intermixture of pride in that too, in that female sympathy can overcome the pathology of victimization. That's Eve, as far as I'm concerned, clutching the serpent to her breast. And the universities have become feminized to a great degree. And then there's this incredibly deep, people overall, I think, in the West have no idea how pathological the universities have become. The social sciences, the humanities run on an oppressor-victim narrative. And everything is seen through that light. And you can learn the tenets of the oppressor-victimizer narrative in 5 minutes, and then you can explain the world. See, one of the things I saw at the University of Toronto was this insistence by my colleagues that there was no more productive and moral pathway that a student could be invited to take than the pathway of protest.
Yes.
Right, okay, so now see, it's not only that the students are characterized by this overweening certainty in Western
dominance and malevolence.
Yes. So they posit this malevolent force that's centered in the West, but then they position themselves as adversaries to that force, and that's the prideful. That's the prideful twist.
Well,
it's like, we're so horrible here in the West, but I'm so good that even though I'm part of the West, I'll do everything I can to oppose that. And then they're egged on by their idiot professors.
I quote a student at Columbia who described himself as a first-generation low-income student, the first in his family to go to university, certainly the first to go to Columbia. You would have thought, most of us would have thought, damn, I'm lucky. But he describes how straight away he was taught what he described as the rich history of protest at Columbia, and remembered thinking, when it kicks off again, I want to be at the center of it.